Welcome, friends. It's another episode of Podcast Unlocked, the world's #1 Xbox podcast, episode 261. 261. We're going to be at 300 before we know it.
Better start making the plans.
I'm going to have to.
Yeah, what are we going to do for that?
I don't know. It's got to be something good because we didn't do anything for 250.
Huh.
So,
Live at the Apollo Theater.
please.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Out in New York?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love an excuse to go to New York. Any excuse I can get
I
to
feel
go.
like it'd be fun if we did it at the PlayStation Theater. Just for the appeal of that.
That'd be awesome.
There is isn't it the... What's the one right at LA Live? Because it used to be the Nokia Theater, but Microsoft... Is it the Microsoft Theater?
Oh, there's no way, right?
No, seriously.
I still call it
You know what
Nokia.
I'm talking about,
Yeah,
right?
no, but I still call it the Nokia Theater.
But
I didn't realize you guys pronounced that way.
What do you pronounce it as?
Nokia?
Nokia?
Interesting.
Nokia.
Yeah.
Eh.
Like it's like Nissan?
Polyphony, polyphony?
Yeah, I screwed that one up.
I don't know.
That's 40 episodes away, though, right? So what does that
That's
put
a
us
long
like?
time.
That's kind of
Well,
next year
yeah,
at this
it's
point.
next year.
We've managed to stay pretty regular, eating all of our fiber. Poop jokes, hashtag poop jokes. And so they've been falling around E3, which is actually awful.
Oh, yeah.
Because 200
Oh,
was...
right, because 201 was
Yeah.
at E3.
And
literally
then-
at E3.
250 was, I think, actually our wasn't that... No, it was the live show, wasn't it? After...
Yes.
I think the live show at E3
It
was
was.
250.
Yeah. Which
So-
I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, E3's cool. Anything that's really like spectacle oriented, I think the fans really like, and I enjoy to produce. And
Or just
Yeah.
something that isn't in this stuffy little room.
exactly, yeah, that gets
That's
so
true.
hot and muggy.
Yeah,
like
this room
5
is
minutes after
not great.
recording.
So we'll have to come up with something. Maybe we can get Phil to come. We can
Ooh,
get
that'd be awesome.
That'd be
some of our other developer friends to come and hang out.
I say we make it a spectacle, man. Like, you ever see what Rooster Teeth does with Let's Play Live?
Oh,
I would
I've
love to
seen
do
Didn't they
that.
just start that?
Yeah.
Like
Well,
last week?
I don't exactly
Was that
know.
the first one?
They've been doing. Well, yeah, they had one really recently, but they've been doing Let's Play Live for a while.
We
now.
could maybe fill up the front row, you
Yeah.
know, and if we just film it, if you shoot it, it'll look like a full theater.
Don't worry, I'll like CG a
Edit
bunch
it.
of people in
Yeah.
post. Yeah.
Oh, well, just
like
like we have a
Guitar
lot
Hero
of-
Live.
Yeah,
Yeah, we have a
exactly.
lot of cardboard cutouts in the office.
That's true.
We'll just fold them and put them in seats.
Yeah, as long as you're okay with them being Robert Pattinson and what's his name? Andrew Lincoln.
Yes, those are the only two that we have. It's Robert Pattinson.
That's been the new thing around the IGN office is somebody is just diligently working, like focused in on
Oh,
working,
yeah.
and somebody quietly sneaks up and puts the cardboard cutout right behind them so that when they turn around, the hope is that they'll just freak
Oh
out.
yeah, it
no,
absolutely freaked me out.
Yeah, I got a scream out of Naomi and out of Brian because I put it in the green room, like right as you open the door
Oh,
and
of
in
course.
the dark, and
Yeah.
it's like right there in your face. It's great.
The one that it really wigs me out when it's in the men's room stall, so it's
Yeah.
just like peeking over.
So someone put it on the table in the men's room stall, and it's like as soon as you walk in, there's just a head up there looking at you, and you're like, ugh. It's a little creepy.
Parkhurst tried to get me yesterday. I was walking out the door and I went out the stairs way, and he put it right through that door. But I was looking at my phone, so I kind of looked like it didn't get like it. I stopped but it didn't cause a physical reaction.
Right,
so I
right.
think he was a little disappointed.
These are the shenanigans that go on at IGN on a
Can
regular
you
basis.
get cardboard cutouts like custom made?
Oh, I'm sure you.
Because I
will.
think there's a character that I really want to get Max for his birthday, which is in November, so it's still a little way away. But I'm not going to say who it is because I feel like someone out of spite would tweet him and spoil the
Yeah.
surprise. But I really want to do it. It's like I don't know how much.
That's a really
that
good
would
idea.
cost.
I thought you were gonna just get like a cardboard cutout of Max.
No.
And then just like, I would love to get cardboard cutouts.
Did you see
of all
when he
our
put the
people
Robert
here.
Pattinson in the Hawaiian shirt and put sunglasses on it?
It literally looks like him.
I
It
spoke
looks like
to
Max.
it multiple times. It was like Matt. Oh wait, never
That's
mind.
not a real person.
Nope. It was really good. He sent a joke email saying that he was going on holidays and Robert Pattinson was his replacement. And Fran replied seriously and was like, "Did we approve this ahead of time?" It's like, it was a joke. It was a joke.
Boy, he set himself up there, and nobody took advantage of. They could have just been like, "Oh, well, I'm sure we won't even notice a difference."
Yeah.
Nobody
exactly the
took
same.
him up on that.
Yeah, that's true.
Leave it to Fran.
Man.
You just have Brian talking to himself on Up at Noon. It'd be great.
Oh my goodness. So this, as you can tell, we're maybe a little bored here in the doldrums of summer as we start
Yeah.
this is it, and then we're gonna come out of it and go into the
calm
And we're going to
fall
be
of the storm,
exhausted.
yeah.
You know, we're going to complain at the end of the year about how
Oh,
much
yeah.
stuff we have to play.
Yeah,
Whereas
wah.
right now we're like, I have nothing.
I started Deus Ex. I really like it so far.
I downloaded it. I haven't played it yet.
Super early, but I like a lot of what it's doing.
I kind of been on the road a lot recently, so I haven't had a chance yet, but I'm really interested in it. After I read Vince's review, I'm like, I never got around to playing Human Revolution because it came like right there at the end of the 360 generation, didn't it?
2011?
Yeah.
So maybe not quite
really.
the end.
You just probably, there were probably a million other games that came out at the same time.
I don't think it would have
That's
aged
true.
too well.
Really?
Yeah, like I don't know if it would work now.
Well, it's
I kind of
backwards
had
compatible.
that suspicion.
I mean, you can play it.
But I mean, people say it's like... People
great
say the
game.
game's really good, right?
It's the boss fights are awful.
Yeah.
Which is all well chronicled at this point, but the rest of the game's great.
Yeah. So I have a huge amount of interest in a game like that. I'm very, like, just as a person, I'm very into sci-fi and kind of like, I love RPGs and great storytelling, so it seems like it's right up my alley.
I'll tell you this then. One of the things I really like about my initial foray into Deus Ex Mankind Divided is there is an option in the menu is watch 12-minute recap video of and
what
it
happened,
literally just
right.
catch it's a 12 it's not just like a 3-minute super top level like it it kind of takes you through the whole story in 12 minutes of the first game to just kind of get you caught up on what's going on, and
That's
I
cool.
feel like every sequel should do that.
Yeah.
Or if it doesn't, you can rely on IGN.com because I did it in 5 minutes. Deus Ex in 5 minutes, live on IGN.com.
Also,
Produced
I think
that
our
video.
Gears of War one will be up by the time that
It's
go.
up by the time anybody sees this.
Yeah.
I actually just watched it. I just published it and
Woo.
had screened it. It's really good. Yeah, you did
Yeah,
an
it took
awesome
me a
job.
really, really long time to
But
write.
actually, that's really cool that you bring that up, though, because, like, having produced the Deus Ex in 5 minutes, like, video, and having not played the Deus Ex games, like, since the original one, I had really no idea what was going on.
Right.
And
Wait, you had to write that?
No, I produced the video.
I was like, why
But,
on earth would
that
they
means,
make you
like, I
do
pulled
that?
all the B-roll and stuff,
It's
and I'm
still
reading
hard,
the
right?
script, and I'm like, what? Like, what do I
Yeah.
even look for? Or, like, where does this even happen? Or what game does it even... Because there's, like, 4 games. It's not just Human Revolution that we talk about.
3.
Well,
I
now
think.
there's 4.
Yeah.
Now there's 4.
Are you? I'm including like supposedly there's like a pretty bad mobile Deus Ex, not Deus Ex Go.
Deus Ex Go is supposed to be really good, actually.
I'm at the end of
played
it
that
now.
either.
I'm not quite done. So if you watch the show, you've probably heard I love the Go game. I think everybody loves the two Hitman Go and Lara Croft Go. It's Deus Ex Go it does have the puzzle challenge to it, but I don't know. I almost can't even quite put my finger on it. I just don't quite like it as much as the other two. Maybe it's just a little bit of fatigue because I've done this format twice before already, but I don't quite like it as well. But it's still really good. It's still. I don't play mobile games.
Neither do I.
I don't play them.
Ever.
I find pretty much all of them to be either obnoxious or just dumb, or they're not for me. But the Go games they're the only ones that I play and enjoy.
Yeah.
Really, for the most
I think
part.
that's fair. Well, I mean, there's mobile games that I like, but they're always ports, basically.
Yeah.
Like, I played a fair bit of Minecraft on mobile.
Yeah, I played the Trials Frontier game, the Trials HD, the mobile version. It's actually pretty
That's
good.
on mobile?
It controls better than you think it does.
I remember playing Trials when it was still in browser. It was a browser-based
Way
game
back.
that we would play
Way
in
back.
classrooms. Like, when teachers weren't looking, we would all just play Trials. It was great.
God, Trials is good.
Last mobile game I played was Game Dev Story, Tiny Wings maybe. I don't play mobile games ever either.
It was actually a game that was like Game Dev Simulator. That was pretty fun. But they're
But
all
anyway.
like very small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Deus Ex it's really solid so far. Definitely recommend giving it a shot.
How far are you through Mankind Divided?
Oh, just the first mission and a half.
Interesting. Yeah, like one of the things that I saw people talking a lot about on Twitter and on Reddit was the microtransactions, but I can't really seem to get a bead on whether or not this is blown out of proportion and people are angry about nothing, or if the microtransactions are actually intrusive.
I mean, it's a single
Vince's
player
review
game,
didn't-
so I mean, I can't imagine there'd be anything that's that bad, right?
So that's I mean, like I said, I
Yeah.
haven't played it, don't really know, and it's hard reading people's comments online to get a sense of whether or not their claims of it being like obtrusive are valid. But like, I need to talk to someone who's played the game before.
I mean, people were furious about Phantom Pain and Dead Space 3 having microtransactions before they came out.
Right.
So it was like the idea, and then in practice it was like, oh, you can
Oh,
completely ignore
certainly.
these.
Oh, yeah.
It don't matter really at
Remember-
all.
You guys remember when before Deus Ex got delayed, when Square was going to do that super dumb thing where if enough people pre-ordered it, they would make it like they would do a 4-day early release. You guys remember
I
that?
don't think I
No.
remember
What?
that.
They've successfully done
Wow.
their mind tricks and made you guys forget. We did a whole rant about it on this show of how
terrible.
disgusting and awful it was. And to their credit, they were like, "Yep, that was dumb," and they got rid of it. But yeah, they were doing a thing where if enough people pre-ordered, they're gonna be like, "Okay,
It comes out earlier.
yeah, it'll be like 3 days earlier."
That's ridiculous.
But
Yeah, it's a
they
little bit
wised
weird.
up, and then the game got delayed.
So
anyway.
can we talk about pre-order culture just in general?
Yeah, I was just about to say, like,
People
pre-orders are...
stop pre-ordering things.
It's a red
just
button,
stop
hot
pre-ordering
button issue
stuff.
right now.
Yeah,
I mean, I do it.
here's the thing. So
I do it for statues.
back in the day, because I'm old, it actually was important to pre-order. I'll give you a good example.
I know what you're going to say, yeah.
So I was crazy excited for Street Fighter 2 to come to the Super NES. I was huge into Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat back then, as everybody was. And when those games came home to the consoles, it was a big deal. And I had to pre-order the cartridge at Babbage's or whatever it was, because if you didn't, like, they would only get maybe 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 copies.
yeah.
Like, you just might not get it. Now in the digital age, that's totally.
And that's-
there are unlimited copies, and pre-ordering. It doesn't. There's not a lot of benefit to it.
In fact, there's almost...
for the gamer.
There's almost no benefit to it unless you're buying it for like a statue or
It's
something.
the only
like
time
that.
I do it is
Yeah.
when it's
Which-
like a limited collector's
they're
edition
limited.
that I want
Exactly.
the statue
Totally.
from.
And sometimes it's like a limited edition or a collector's edition type thing.
Yeah.
Where those are still probably like
those-
limited.
The Destiny Ghosts.
Yeah.
I still want one of those.
Me too. And I'm a big Destiny fan.
I'm not even a big Destiny fan, and I want one of those.
Yeah. The last game I pre-ordered was
It's Peter Dinklage, which is like now that's like a collector's item.
Is it
Yeah.
still
Yeah,
Peter
'cause
Dinklage?
Well,
It's
the
same?
Ghost was.
Yeah, but
because-
is it still?
No,
No,
not
that's
in the game.
Nolan North.
Because he was. Oh, it's Nolan
Remember they
North now?
they recast the whole.
He was really bad.
They retconned Peter Dinklage out of the game.
It was seriously really bad, which is crazy because he's a great actor. He just sounded so bored.
Well, here's the thing: is like
wizard came from the moon.
Yeah,
that's my favorite.
that
line.
wizard came from the moon.
Obviously Peter Dinklage is a fantastic actor. There must have been something more going on behind the scenes there. Just like, either he wasn't given a lot of direction or no
Right.
context for the lines he was saying. I can imagine.
Or
him,
they told him to be lifeless because he was meant to be a robot.
That's
Like,
possible.
I feel like that could be.
Bad direction.
But
as
the thing is,
opposed
like,
to
maybe, but potentially, like, if you listen to the dialogue, like, he's supposed to kind of be. The dialogue is written for a charming person, for a charming robot. So it's like, if they gave him the direction,
wizard.
be lifeless and, like, terrible. It's
Be
not
terrible.
written that way,
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm
man.
trying to give Peter Dinklage the benefit of the
Well,
doubt.
he's
is what
earned
I'm
that,
saying.
absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, the last game I pre-ordered was Halo 3, and I got the helmet and stuff, and like.
and we got a million of them just laying
million of them
around
just
now.
sitting- And I
Yeah,
was
a lot
like,
of
well, I bought it thinking I'm gonna put that thing on my head. It's gonna be awesome.
It's just a slot, right?
It's too small.
It's
you cannot put your head
purposely
on that.
sized so that you cannot put it on your
Yeah.
head.
Yeah, and so that's the last time I ever made that mistake, and I haven't pre-ordered games since. And now it's not even really necessary because we live in the digital age, and there are no limited editions or limited copies of digital games.
Yeah, absolutely. And like it's getting to the point for me with collector's editions that it's actually smarter to just wait 6 months and buy the statue by itself independently on Amazon or eBay.
So here's the other question, though.
Yeah.
I don't have an answer for this, so I want to pose it to you two. Is why do you think why do gamers pre-order games in such high quantities now? Pre-order culture is definitely a thing, but there appears to be no real incentive for it.
I think
So why?
my answer to your question is because marketing tells them to. Like, marketing is a powerful
So we
force.
really are just all sheep.
I mean, there's a reason.
Absolutely,
that,
yes.
I mean, not to get too real, but like, there's a reason that money buys elections, money buys
Yeah.
ads, which I think it's just marketing, and that's what otherwise companies wouldn't do it. They wouldn't market if it didn't work.
Is it so strong though as to override the notion that like, okay, you can pre-order this game, or you can just get it when it comes out because it's gonna come out.
I guess the point is, why not pre-order? So it's like it's not like it has to override anything. It's like
True.
there's technically to them there's no downside to pre-ordering. It's like they partly own something and people are talking about the game and they're like, oh yeah, I've already put $20 down on that. So it's like partly excitement. And I know when I was in school, I would pre-order, like after E3, I would write a list and I would pre-order
Yeah.
everything and I would pay it off bit by bit. So it was effectively like I had like a lay-by. Like I could pay it off really gradually because I wasn't earning much money because I was in school.
Right.
So that worked really well. But now it's just pre-ordering things is like encouraging people to release broken games, kind of.
And you're from a financial perspective. I know it's not much, but you are literally giving the store an interest-free loan.
Yeah, that's also true.
If you put that money in a IRA or 401k or something, or a high interest bank account, you'd be making a few pennies on that.
That's true. If you keep that money in your own bank account,
you're giving them free money that they then
make interest off of.
Well, but they take everybody's pre-order and they make interest off that, and they make lots of money off of that.
This is why GameStop is still in business
for now.
Well,
yeah,
I think pre-owned games are the biggest thing for GameStop.
Oh, of course, that's what they hang their hat on. Yeah.
Didn't you tweeted something this morning?
Yeah, it's so I checked that the sale is over now, and people explained it to me on Twitter, but it just on the surface it looks awful.
Yeah.
So I happened to. So yesterday when I was preparing the show, I go to Major Nelson's site to see what the digital games are, and then I'll go to GameStop's site to see if there are any big retail releases this week, to make sure if I'm not remembering all of them, and there really weren't any, but it was like, oh, Doom $19.99. I'm like, and for some reason I clicked on it.
That's super cheap.
And on GameStop's page at the top, there are three prices. There's the buy new price, there's the buy used price, and then there's the buy a download price.
Huh.
And
why would you buy it?
It just had the game Doom. It just ended, but it was on sale for $20. And next to that
copy
was the pre-owned price of $53.
Yeah, it's like,
what?
And next to that was the buy their download code price of $59.99. And so I just, tweeted out my joking, poking fun at that.
How ridiculous that looks.
And people explain it to me, it's publisher will
sale.
incentivize it so that the stores aren't actually losing money and the whole thing. But it just, when you just look at it,
it
if
looks
you just on
totally
a web page, you click on that, it's like, what do you take me for a moron?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't I get this one?
You know what? I'll have the used copy. I think there must be something wrong with the new copy if it's only $20.
Why would people buy download codes? Why?
I don't know.
Well, that's, to me, that reeks of just brick and mortar's desperation to kids want to download things. Let's condition them to buy their download things from us so we don't go away.
That's so strange. I never even heard of that before. Why wouldn't you just buy it?
What a dubious thing to ask someone to do. So much of gamer culture, just so much of culture in general is so obscured to me, I can't understand it, but that's definitely one of them. I still can't wrap my head around, you were talking about why wouldn't people pre-order? I'll tell you why, because so many of those games that people, when they whine about the pre-orders, end up being bad.
Well,
they don't look at it that way, though.
Yeah,
is the thing. So they don't see that as a component of it. I think most people who pre-order don't even consider that that's a possibility.
And the other reason that the publishers love pre-orders is because if all you got to do is look at the comments of any review on any website, and people that disagree with our low scores, when of course the game hasn't even come out yet, it's just the review embargo. Most of those people have pre-ordered the game, and they don't want to be told that they're wrong, quote unquote, wrong for pre-ordering.
Yeah, so they continue to market the game because
they're
put money
doing
into
the market
it.
exactly right.
You're really tapping into something that I think is a deep-rooted problem of fandom, especially modern fandom. I got into it with someone in the comments recently on an Unlocked video. Maybe it wasn't an Unlocked video. Maybe it was Fireteam Chat. I can't remember anymore. But they accused me of being a fanboy. And basically, I was trying to argue
what's wrong
that,
with that?
Well,
if you are about something.
Well, so fanboy has this negative connotation, you're going to defend the thing you're a fan of, no matter if it's bad or good.
Yeah,
right?
I think fanboy is like blind love. You will not accept anything else.
Or blind hate, right? Yeah. So you don't want to be that type of person. And on the internet, they're in droves. They exist in droves, right? I think the argument to be made is those people they're the ones who are being taken advantage of the most, because like you said, they become the marketing arm of these people's these pre-order publishing giants.
They're pawns in the marketing chess game.
Yeah, because they know, at least on some level, and it's a cynical thought to think that these companies know that those people will defend the game whether it's good or bad, and in the end, they're the ones who will end up paying for it out of their own pockets, right? And that's kind of a bummer. And I think if people just take a step back and realize instead of being fanboys of brands or games or something like that, if you just are a fan of games, that'll give you a perspective that's a little bit more objective, and then you will save money and you'll actually have a better understanding of the whole landscape.
Do you mean play games and not systems?
Exactly.
What?
That's the thing.
What are you talking about? My entire livelihood is attached to the name on the front of this plastic box.
Yeah, someone accused me of being an Xbox fanboy, and I was like, PlayStation games and Nintendo games are built into my DNA, but I'm more a fan of.
You should get a
games
doctor to look at that. By
in
the way,
general.
that could be cancerous.
I don't know. I want
if
it
it
to stay that way.
metastasizes. You know,
I want it to stay that way.
I think one thing I always find really weird is if there's something has come out and I criticize it, people seem to assume that means I hate it.
Exactly.
I am more likely to criticize something that I really
Absolutely.
like. I had to review Valley last week or 2 weeks ago, and I just didn't care. Like I gave it a 5, which is mediocre. And it was so hard for me to criticize that game because I just didn't want to do the review because I didn't care about it either way. It's like nothing in this is investing me. Whereas if it's a game that I love, I'm much more likely to look for something to criticize to see like, this is how I would improve this thing that I already totally love.
well,
You're
look
absolutely right.
Look no further than we caught a lot of heat from the audience for our Halo 5 discussion after, and you know, we ripped that campaign a new one because it deserved it. It was an awful campaign, and people were, you know, they were not happy to hear that.
Right,
But then,
so they say like, you're not a real Xbox fan,
You're
but
like-
it's actually that you love Halo.
It's actually the opposite.
Yeah.
It's I love Halo, so I'm gonna sing its praises when it's awesome, which I love 4. I love, you know, a lot of them, most of them, in fact, except for 5's campaign. But yeah, if it's bad, I'm gonna be the loudest one in the room saying, here's
Exactly.
why this is terrible. What happened?
You don't improve something that you like by just saying it's good all the time.
And
Like, that doesn't
something-
help.
Yeah, why be a yes man? Then nothing ever.
That's
Yeah.
exactly my point. I said that in the comments when I got into it with this guy. Like, that's part of the thing that I think modern fandom obscures is like criticism is not the same thing as negativity.
Correct.
Like,
That's true.
people perceive criticism as you're hating on something, and that's not true at all. Like, we criticize the things we love because we want them to be better because we love them. And we want
Exactly,
them to be
yeah.
awesome. Like, I'm the biggest Halo fanboy.
Here. You're the biggest one here.
I wanted to stop short of saying fanboy because I just said I wasn't a
Just say
fanboy of
fan.
anything.
I think fanboy is
I'm
what
a
makes
huge
it bad.
supporter of Halo. I love Halo. I love the franchise. I've played it ever since the beginning, and I still play it all the time. But I will not defend a game blindly if it's not good because I'm a bigger fan of games than I am
Yeah.
of Halo. And just the same way, like I love movies so much that I won't defend a bad Halo movie just because it's Halo, right? If I'm a fan of your thing, that doesn't mean you can't do any wrong.
Correct.
And I
Yeah.
think that's what criticism's role in the landscape of media is to be that voice that kind of gives the audience and consumers a lens to look at something through a different perspective, and not necessarily one that's diametrically opposed to your own. But like, if you understand that Sean Finnegan is a big Halo guy, when he's talking about Halo, you may want to keep that in the back of your head if you're not a big Halo person, and just understand that
It's
our
context.
perspectives may not line up.
Yeah.
And that's okay if they don't. I'm not hating you or attacking you.
Yeah, it's also true.
And I think a lot of people just they either refuse to know the difference or just can't tell the difference. That hatred, that's not criticism,
Yeah.
and criticism isn't
exactly
hating on it.
It's
Yeah.
They
become
are
much
two different
more
things.
Totally.
obscured with, like, again, just everyone has a platform to express an opinion, and sometimes those opinions are not valid opinions, and sometimes they are blind hate, and then it becomes a flame war. That's all over the internet. So I can understand that there's so much noise out there that it can be kind of tough to filter out at times.
There's
but that's what I
lines of
try and reiterate all the
differentiation.
time here.
Yeah, I was on the post shows for Xbox and PlayStation at E3, and one thing that I tried to do that people were kind of angry at me for is everyone else on those panels, especially the PlayStation one, was just super excited about the whole thing. And I think part of the role of companies like IGN is to be like, okay, this is presented to us as marketing. What are some things that didn't look that good? Like, I feel like that's part of it, is to cut through the fact that they are just trying to sell you something at
Right.
E3. It's like, you can totally be excited about games, and there was stuff
they're,
that I was like,
they're
this
dog
looks
and pony
amazing.
shows. That's what the E3 press
Like Sea of
conferences
Thieves,
are.
right? You didn't like that presentation.
I didn't like the presentation, then I loved the game.
Exactly. So it's something that you look at as like, even though I love this and I want to love this thing, it's something that you should look through or try to address in a way that you still can criticize it, because it is marketing and it is trying to make money. And it's like, I don't think that we should look at conferences like that, despite how exciting and extravagant they are. And they're so awesome to watch. But I don't think that we should ever look at them as something that we just want to take positively. You know how people like say this one won and this one
Yeah.
won? Like, I kind of don't like that culture. It's like, they presented these things.
Everybody won during E3 week because
Pretty much.
at least
The answer is
Microsoft
that
and Sony's
gamers
fans.
always win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, yeah, I think I totally think you're right. Like, it's dumb to kind of, they're all awesome shows, right? And they're all awesome games that they're putting out there for the most part, and like getting people excited. Like, why does one company have to have done it better than the other company? I don't really know.
I would prefer to
there's
address
any,
it as like this presentation was the best in this specific conference. Like I thought that Days Gone was a bad part of, or the lowest part of the PlayStation conference, just because it was just like a zombie shooter. That's what I thought of that.
Well, and of
people
course-
were so mad at me for saying that. It was like I literally just thought it looked like a.
I missed the
it was fine.
PlayStation
And they both
conference.
had different goals. Like, I mean, if you looked at the Microsoft conference was very much about, I don't know, I mean, I don't want to get too far into the weeds with back at E3, but the Microsoft conference was very much focused on 2016.
Yeah.
And there,
Stuff coming out this
so
year.
things might not have been necessarily as new and sexy as they were at the PlayStation conference, but they were like, here's all the cool stuff we're doing this year.
Yeah.
And whereas the PlayStation stuff was a little more forward looking.
Yeah, the
where
stuff
it's
we
like,
won't see for
There's
years.
some new exciting things, but you're not going to get to see them for quite
That
a while.
Kojima game though. Like when is that
Oh
gonna?
man, yeah. So that's the thing is that's 5 years away.
But-
That's totally 5 years away.
I don't know where
Like
I'm.
I'd rather not see games like that at a conference because I'm gonna get
It's fun,
excited
though.
about them.
I do like being excited. Yeah.
It makes E3 fun when you
Yeah,
get
but
those surprises.
5 years away. Come on.
well, we don't
Well,
know that.
That's
But
a,
let's guess.
That's definitely going to be 5
Okay,
years
right.
away. But
But
I like that
that's-
excitement. I like that hype. Like that, I think is fun.
I don't mind getting hyped. I just would like to be hyped about a game that's like available next year or maybe potentially 2 years
sure.
away.
So 98% of the games fall into the category. You're picking on an exception here. I mean that's.
well, yeah, that one.
But if you're not going to have Kojima,
I mean, there's one of those there's one of those every year.
No Man's Sky, right? We saw that before it released. Didn't we see that 3 years ago? Wasn't that
Correct.
2013 that we saw that?
That's just game development. I mean that's that. Yeah, that.
Oh yeah, totally. But I mean, that's the thing is like it's on Sony or whoever's doing the conference to not put a game out there that they know is not going to be finished for so long.
Well,
no, I don't think
Didn't
so.
we talk about this before on the show
like-
where like sometimes there's this diminishing returns thing where like if you announce a game too early and
Watch
then
Dogs too.
Below. We were talking about this with Below, and I mean Cuphead is a victim of that right now.
yeah, like
Yeah.
there's immediate hype for the game because it looks cool, and then there's sustained hype for a period after that. But then after longer and longer of not seeing it and going radio silent in some cases, people start to lose
you
interest.
can show it and show it like
The problem
again,
there is marketing teams not sustaining the hype properly. Like they
Well-
have their release. I know Nintendo does this where they really strictly have their release date like penciled in, and then they have the marketing plan, and that's why they just don't delay things. They're like, this
Yeah,
month we're doing
that's the
this.
thing.
This month we're
But it
doing
can't
this.
fall squarely on the shoulders of marketing, right?
exactly.
Because like
I think that
you can't
hype
just be
does.
like, I'm going to tell the audience about this game, and it's your job to keep them interested for 5
But the-
years.
but the
Like,
thing
it's
is-
just-
Legitimately, yeah, that's what marketing is.
When the game gets delayed, though, it throws the marketing plan out the window and
Yes.
makes it a lot harder. Like, I
Yes.
mean, again, it's Cuphead's a great example where I'm very confident because I've seen that game at least half a dozen times at this point that game is going to be something pretty special, I think. But we've seen it so often without it coming out or even getting a firm release date
Yeah.
that people are now just like, we could, if it were at PAX this weekend, which you'll be at and Marty has already left for,
And I
in
will
fact
also
it
be
might
at.
be is because there's an ID at Xbox Showcase.
Yeah.
I actually don't know if Cuphead's there, but it probably is. But
we might not talk about it again.
if you were to cover it, there'd be plenty of people that'd be like, yeah, it looks, but it is that diminishing returns that you're talking
That's
about because
true.
it's just like, okay, yeah, we've seen this before. Can I give you my money now?
Yeah,
please?
And
so
it's
it's like the
top-
marketing runs out at
does.
a certain
Like,
point.
It's finite.
Yeah.
marketing dollars aside, people can only stay interested in something for so long
Right.
before they lose interest, right? And
Yeah.
I think like it falls on the higher ups, the suits, to kind of time the marketing campaign with the interest level and the actual development of the game as best they can.
Well,
Which again, I think Nintendo does an incredible
yeah,
job.
I mean, those marketing people make a lot more money than we do for a reason because there's a lot riding on. Like if you blow the marketing campaign somehow, either it's you shoot the wad too early or too late. It can drastically affect the fortunes of
Yeah.
the game.
I mean, in AAA development and blockbuster movies, like the budgets of marketing almost always exceed the production budget, right? Like you spend, they say,
Yeah.
up to 50% more on marketing the movie or the game
I
as
don't
opposed to
think-
making
Yeah, I
the
don't know
game.
if that quite applies to games yet.
Maybe
it
not,
definitely
yeah.
does to movies where there's a lot of mainstream advertising and
Yeah,
games.
they're advertising on TV and like on billboards and
Yeah.
on radio and stuff. Like they carpet bomb the whole country for marketing. Like a Suicide Squad's a great example, right?
Yeah.
Like this is a movie that suffered because they had to stick to the marketing timetable. You can't throw all of that stuff out of whack because if you do, that's hundreds of millions of dollars out the window.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a bummer, but like, yeah, it falls to the higher ups, the suits, to kind of time it as best they can. Because I don't know, it just sucks when you see, like, to me, it sucks when you see a game like Days Gone By and you're like, whoa, that looks really cool. I'm not going to play that until I'm 35.
I mean, look at an example of probably, I would say, a really well executed marketing plan in games is look last year at Fallout 4. I mean, it's not every game
coming
can pull
out
off
this year.
Yeah,
can
that was
pull off
great.
the announce to release in like the 4-month window, but they did.
And truth be told, we knew that game was coming.
Everybody
Yeah.
knew that game was coming, so the anticipation had built up, and then they announced it, and they showed it. They had a couple of trailers, and then they just did a big marketing campaign, and then boom, it was out. But
And they're still like doing a very good job of releasing new content that's varied. Like
yeah,
they killed it.
We're
That was
reviewing a new
very good.
DLC this week, the Nuka World.
Nuka World. I really want to check that out.
But
Yeah, they did a great job of that. I'm sure they'll do the same with the next Elder Scrolls game, whenever that is. But I hope they kind of wait a bit for that, to be honest.
yeah, I mean, Elder Scrolls, I've said this before, it's still, to the best of my knowledge, it's still one team that Todd Howard runs at Bethesda Game Studios, and so it's probably going to be holiday 2018.
Yeah.
It's usually a 3-year. It was a little longer between
Fallout
Skyrim
3.
and Fallout 4.
Yeah.
But there was also a console shift there, a generation shift. So I mean, it's probably holiday 2018 is where you'd place your bet.
That seems fair. Did I tell you Todd Howard cut me off in a line at E3?
Really?
Did he big time? He big timed you,
It was
huh?
at the Bethesda event, and he just like, the line was super long. It was to play Fallout in VR. I ended up leaving because the line was like 3 hours long. And he just like walked straight in front of me and was like, "Sorry, I walk here." And I was like, "It's fine. It's totally fine.
Well,
you are so welcome."
I would do that at an IGN event.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, but it was like he's just
not
like
gonna wait
this,
in line at your own
this
event.
really small, like sweet man, and he's just like, "I'm really sorry," and I was like, "Don't even apologize. Like,
That's
just
so
fucking,
funny.
just roll through it. Like, it's totally cool."
At least he apologized for it and didn't just like
Yeah,
you
no,
know.
he was very like
he's
shy about
He's
it.
an awesome guy. Todd is a guy that he's been tough to pin down because he doesn't like to come out to the West. He doesn't have to come out to the West Coast. He's out on the East Coast, and he doesn't get out here much. And he's very high on my priority list for IGN Unfiltered. I really
He's
want to
got
sit
to be a
him
really
down.
interesting dude to talk to.
I used to talk to him a lot.
Because hasn't he spent, like, he basically spent his whole career.
He has. He's been there for over 20 years.
He pretty much
Yeah.
made that company.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always a team effort, but yeah,
Of
he
course,
is definitely he's a central reason why they have risen to the heights that they are
Yeah.
at now. Absolutely. And that's back when I was at OXM doing my OXM podcast back in the day, nobody listened to it. He used to come on maybe a couple times a year, because there'd be whether Elder Scrolls DLC or the Oblivion's release or DLC, and then Fallout 3 after. There was kind of a nice rolling time where I got to chat with him a lot. But yeah, now his profile is so much higher. He's a lot harder to pin down.
Dude's a rock star when it comes to games.
But
he's like, Kojima level, I would say. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Like, I mean, I don't think that I feel the same way about Todd Howard that I do about Kojima. I only went to the IGN party at San Diego Comic-Con because people said Kojima was going. So I was exhausted. I was just working.
He was totally there. Did you meet him?
He was there, but I was working crazy long days, and I really didn't want to go. I was super tired, and I was just drinking water.
I don't think I saw you there.
I was there for a very small amount of time because I literally went, saw Kojima. I just looked at him and then left.
And you're like,
I was
I
like,
got it.
all right,
That's all I
and I'm
needed.
done. I was in the same room as him.
In an absolute dead desert news week where there's nothing to talk about.
That's why we're talking about nothing,
you
by the
mentioned,
way,
actually,
friends.
you bring up an interesting question of like, who is Todd Howard one of the most important, like, if you were to take one person, does he mean more to that dev team than, boy, I'm phrasing this really badly. Who are the people where if you took them
Is
off,
he the MVP?
if you remove them from their dev studio, it's just like the sky is falling. It's a disaster.
So like the person who is the Metal Gear to Kojima and now has survived.
And that's no disrespect again to the
No, of
very
course.
talented people that also work at Bethesda or other places. But like, if you took Todd Howard, if Todd Howard said tomorrow, I'm leaving Bethesda. I'm out, or I'm retired. I'm retiring. Bye. I'm gone. Like you'd be like, oh man, Elder Scrolls. What do we?
Yeah.
Gamers would be. I know I'd be hugely worried about their future. I mean, Kojima certainly. I mean, I have no expectations for Metal Gear. What the hell is it called?
Survive.
I was gonna say zombies, but
That's
it's okay.
what it is.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Metal Gear, like I could not. Yeah, it's like whatever. Okay, the Metal Gear without Kojima. Let's pass the
you're
popcorn.
right. I think
but-
there's not a lot of people like that in the industry. Like even Miyamoto has been more top level recently, and Nintendo's had a rich legacy of incredible designers and people working on those games and franchises that are not Miyamoto. So like even if Miyamoto retired, you'd be like,
I guess
I'd
maybe
be really sad, but I don't think it would affect
he's
Nintendo
such a
too
lovable
much.
guy. He's
Yeah.
actually just like great for games in general, the industry. Like he's such a positive, smiley, happy-go-lucky. He's what like if you wanted to talk to aliens about what video games are, I'd be like, just look at this guy.
Talk to Miyamoto.
Yeah,
I mean, we did
that
just
guy.
lose. We lost. Blanking on his name. The guy from Rockstar.
Yes, we did a
Yeah.
story about this.
Yeah,
The GTA guy.
We lost him. Leslie Benzies.
That's
there
it.
we go.
That's it.
If we also lost the Hauser brothers,
We didn't like lose him like he's still
Well,
around.
he-
He didn't die.
Is that whole legal case? Yeah,
It
no,
was-
he
yeah,
didn't
it
die.
was-
He didn't
yeah.
die.
No,
it does
he's-
sound a little bit
We
like
made it
that.
sound like we lost.
He
well,
went
we
on a-
gamers lost him from Grand Theft
That's
Auto.
true.
Let's put
He
it
went
that
on like
way.
a really long holiday and then didn't get his job back or
and then
something.
there was a big lawsuit.
Yeah.
whole thing. But yeah, I guess
There's
if
a Don
the,
Draper thing going on
if the
there.
Hausers also left, I'd be like, oh man, GTA.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of who else might be in a situation like that. I don't really know.
Maybe Yamayuchi with Gran Turismo. If you're a PlayStation racing fan.
It's integral enough. Yeah, it's.
Tabata-san with Final Fantasy, maybe. So,
I don't know how much Tabata does now, though.
How about if Kamiya left Platinum? You'd be
Yeah,
like,
that
oh
might be a
man.
big one.
Yeah, that would definitely be an issue.
Interesting.
I mean,
that
it's
we're-
really hard, especially like with the way that Western companies work. Our dev teams are so big. Maybe like someone like Amy Hennig, like if she were leaving a project,
Well,
that
she
were
left
working-
Naughty
did.
Dog, and then
Yeah.
I mean, Uncharted 4 turned out great.
right? But she still worked on that game.
Well, yeah, I guess she did. She did.
Wasn't there, like, a
that's true.
controversy
That's a
about
good
that?
point. That's a good point.
Who knows when? I mean, she's a writer first, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, like,
That's actually a really good point, though. It's like I
potentially
was
that
like, if she
game
left the
was-
project she was working on, but she effectively did. I feel like she probably. We don't know exactly what happened, but
And how much of her work was left?
Yeah.
by
yeah,
the
I was
end.
gonna say like I have a sense that like probably
I would think
a
most
lot
of it
her
was
work
her.
was done
Yeah.
before.
Quite
that.
possibly.
I would think so.
I mean,
too.
I'm just guessing. I have
yeah,
no
we
idea,
totally
really.
don't know.
I would say Jason Jones at Bungie. If Jason
Oh,
Jones
yeah.
left Bungie, I'd be like, uh-oh,
Yeah,
that's not good.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a tough question. I think Todd Howard would definitely be the biggest one.
Yeah, he is the biggest one that comes
Yeah.
to mind for me.
For sure.
Anyway, Sean, well, actually, did either of you? Because who played the Titanfall 2 tech test either weekend?
I did. I played. I put about
Talk to me.
maybe 15 hours into it.
That's a lot.
Over 2 weekends.
Yeah. What'd you think of it? It's
I'm
over now, by
I'm
the
like
way,
hot
but-
and cold on it. Like it's fun. I had a lot of fun playing it. The movement is cool. Like it reminds me of what Titanfall 1 was in its speed and its precise gameplay. It's slowed down a little bit though, so that it can be a little bit more manageable, like the movement and stuff. And I liked it, but I don't know if I liked it enough to displace some of the games that I know I'm going to be playing this fall.
Okay.
Like I'm really excited for Rise of Iron.
Yep.
And that's going to be huge for me. I'm still playing lots and lots of Halo.
Yep.
And then as we get into, the big review season and holiday season where there's a lot of great single player games coming out, I just don't know if it really has enough there to pull me back in.
That's fair.
But otherwise, like, if you liked the first Titanfall, if you're really into Call of Duty, like, that's going to be a game that feels very natural, but like
Yeah.
an extension of kind of what the DNA of those games is about. I have a bunch of friends who I play with on Xbox who were like super mad hardcore into the first 3 Modern Warfares, and they're just really into Call of Duty. They had so much fun with Titanfall, and I think they're all just gonna like get really hardcore into it. I mean, it's gonna be for some people out there. I just don't know. I actually have this opinion that I think the tech test might have hurt Titanfall 2's case.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from because I only spent a little bit of time with it, and I mean, I loved it at E3. I did our big preview out of E3, but playing the tech test, there was something about the bounty mode I didn't like.
Oh, I hated
and
that
I think
mode.
it was it just felt not enough Titans.
Yep.
And it just felt like it took too long, and it just didn't feel like there was enough action. I just felt like I would do something, and then I'd be like running to the bank.
Yep.
I don't know. There was that mode did not rub me the right way.
I agree. It didn't rub me the right way either. Granted, I thought a lot about it, and I thought like what I don't like about it might be addressed when you play with people who know what they're doing, or you play with a team, because that's part of the kind of like difficulty of that mode is like you have to. So it's wave based, right? You kill enemies, kill AI, kill Titans in order to gain monetary value, like money, and then you deposit that money into the bank, and that's how you score. Your money is your score, and every time you die or fail to achieve an objective, you lose money, right? So you don't want to do that.
What a score.
What happens is like the wave ends, and people go to try to deposit their money, and good teammates or good opponents will camp your bank, so you can't deposit your money, and then that's how you kind of defeat them by obscuring their score, like by making it difficult for them to score, basically. And so in a pub, when everyone's kind of just doing whatever they want, not really talking to each other, like that's difficult to coordinate, and it's frustrating to fight against if they do it. But I don't know. I mean, it was fun. Like I had a lot of fun, and the grappling hook is awesome, and the movement feels pretty good and stuff. Like it's like jumping into a Titan and like wreaking havoc on another Titan, and like and that's the other thing I really like is now there's this variation of Titans. Like I was using the Ion one, mostly the one that has like an ion cannon, but her, and I call her because her voice is
and the
female,
game does
which is
too.
cool. She has this laser core, which is like essentially a channeled ability that does huge amount of damage in a straight line
Cyclops
out of your chest. Yeah, exactly.
It makes me
for
think
like
Iron
4
Man.
seconds. Yeah, it's so cool, and it does so much damage. Like I love the Titan aspect of that, but like you only really got a lot of Titans in the bounty hunt mode, and then they introduced Hardpoint, which is basically domination or control if you play Destiny, and that made it a lot better. And then they have the pilot versus pilot mode, which is 8v8, which is it's cool, but it's just Call of Duty. Like I play Titanfall so that I can jump in a Titan and wreck people, and I don't know. I think like I get why they would do a tech test, right? They want to make sure that the game can run it, the servers are ready, and all this other stuff, but like in a marketing sense, I think it might have actually diminished people's interest because it didn't quite live up to my expectations, and I can't be the only one out there.
I know Miranda and Max, who have the people that I heard the most about it from, both really liked it. So I guess people might be split on it. But
I definitely saw some of those kind of some mixed reactions on my feeds of people that were kind of a little mixed on the tech test, the content of the tech test itself.
And that's the thing is like I think if we remember that this is a tech test and that there's a lot more to come.
It's very clearly labeled. It's not it's not representative.
Like they didn't even call it a beta or an alpha.
I feel like tech test kind of walked in better.
I think the official wording was pre-alpha tech test.
But the thing, I mean, I reviewed Titanfall 1, and I loved it, and I'm super excited about this one. But I'm actually, as much as I loved the first one, which is obviously multiplayer only, I'm most interested in the single-player campaign.
The whole time I've been thinking that.
Because this is Vince and the core team that made the modern, Call of Duty 1, 2, and 4, which were, had some of the
best
4
ones,
in particular was, one of the best single-player first-person shooter campaigns in the last 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
So
I would say almost ever.
And this is their first campaign since Modern Warfare 2. I actually didn't like Modern Warfare 2's campaign as much.
Great
it was fine, but it was a pretty far drop from Modern Warfare 1 for me. But so this is their first campaign in like, when was Modern Warfare 2?
2007, something like that?
No, that was so that would have been 09. Because it was every other. So their first campaign in 7 years.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for that.
I am too, and the single-player trailer that they dropped at E3 looked really cool, and it looks like you have this great rapport with your Titan, which sounds awesome to me. Anytime there's a Robo Buddy in your campaign,
and I like the tone of it. It just seems like it's not just a multiplayer, all the exact multiplayer look, feel, and tone with some cutscenes bolted onto it. Like it seems to have a very different look, feel, and tone than the multiplayer.
I think they wanted to kind of have a heart, and I mean, no matter how bad even if I hated the tech test, I would still want that game for the single player.
Yeah.
And that's the thing
totally
is I'll probably still try and get it for the single player because I'm very interested in what that team does based on their pedigree with prior campaigns. And I'll probably give the multiplayer a shot going forward. But it's just like, based on what I saw in the tech test, it didn't quite do what I thought it needed to do to get me personally.
Especially if you're
over.
playing Halo and Destiny.
That's the thing,
You
is
know,
like-
it's still a time.
Yeah.
You make a good point though, in that like this Titanfall 2, so you know it has a good multiplayer reputation already from 2013, the first game. But yeah, just this holiday, it's got EA's own Battlefield.
Battlefield 1.
1. I was going to say 5. I'm like, that's not right. It's got Battlefield 1 to contend with as far as... Cause yeah, there's guys like you. There's only so many multiplayer games you can spend time on.
Yeah.
Totally.
So you got Battlefield 1, Gears 4.
Yep.
You have...
Destiny Rise of Iron.
Destiny, Call of Duty. Which is, kind of
What is that one? Infinite
Warfare.
Yeah.
From the, a lot of the Naughty Dog, ex Naughty Dog people that came over there. And I feel like I'm leaving off one or two other major shooters too. So, that's not to say anything of, Watch Dogs 2 has a lot of, like co-op and multiplayer stuff in it. And there's a lot of competition out there.
Yeah.
That's the thing is like it just needs to, and I think it'll do pretty well because it's going to be multi-platform this time, which means like it'll just already have,
which is great.
Yeah, and which it is great, and I think it's good that more people can experience this game because I think it's a good game. But it's just I don't know if it needs to do a little bit more to pull me away from the two games that I play like competitively already. That's all.
Yeah.
That said, like I liked it. I thought it was fun. Yeah. There's some really cool stuff in there.
Yeah. It's just they're too talented of a development team, I think, to fail in the end. But we'll see. I mean, that's what the final review is for.
Yeah.
But so it was cool that the tech test ran over 2 weekends at least.
Yeah,
You
and it was
got a
different
couple
modes
chances.
on the different weekends, right?
They
I like
added
that
a
too.
third map and third mode on
that's
the
cool.
second weekend. Yeah. All right, let's get to what little mostly useless news there is this week. I'll note that you guys are taking over the show next week. I am going to be in New York for the PlayStation meeting, which I'm very excited. We're expecting probably to, I don't know about literally see the Neo, but
hear what it is at least.
have it
Announce the Neo.
announced and detailed. So very curious to. I just love hardware.
That's Wednesday, isn't it?
It is Wednesday,
So
but
we won't be
I
able to talk
leave
about it next
Tuesday, and I'm not back till end of day Thursday, so I just will not be available for the show. So don't run it too far off the rails.
We're gonna kill you again. Yeah,
That's fine.
Hey, people loved that in Memoria.
it was
you see
super
It was
cute.
really great.
The editing was
yeah,
great.
it was really fun.
Yeah.
So, all right, then let's. Oh, and then Marty's already at PAX, which is why he's not here now. He's already left, and you are heading up as well.
Yeah, so Sean.
I'll be
Oh,
there
you're
as well.
going too. I didn't even know you were
Marty
going
and
also.
I have 2 panels. If you look it up on the PAX West app, just search my name or Marty's name. I think the first one is Beyond, which is 11 on Saturday, and the second one is Nintendo 64, which is I think is 10:30 on Sunday, but I'm not sure of that. They are on the app. If you want to come say hi, you should totally do that.
The big thing I want you guys to talk about this week, the one thing I would ask that you cover for sure, we'll have coverage on IGN, but
Horde mode?
Horde mode for Gears 3. It's going to be playable there. Make sure, spend some time on next week's podcast.
That is the
without
only
me talking about
the
me.
only appointment that I made at PAX West is Horde mode.
Yeah.
That's it.
Strong call.
Yep.
It's a good decision on your part. In fact, our Gears of War coverage is wound down now. We did a month of it, and I'm more excited about Gears 4 than when we started.
Oh yeah, totally.
At the beginning of the month, like the DBs look cool.
Yeah.
The map, a couple of really good maps. I really liked Reclaimed. Of the 3 maps we revealed, Reclaimed was the one I liked the most.
I like the drill one, the moving one.
I'd have to look at the
I
names
don't know
again.
what it's called.
But yeah, we revealed 3 maps.
it might be called Lift.
DBs. Oh, Lift. That's right. You got it. Thank you for jogging my memory.
No worries. Anytime.
I'm old. I can't recall this stuff easily anymore.
Becoming senile.
I know it's over. So yeah, if you missed any of our Gears of War 4 coverage this month, I believe it's if you go to go.ign.com/Gears of War 4. I think that should be the link that takes you to a nice wrap up of everything we did. All right, we'll come right back right after this and get to this week's news. What little there is of it. Okay, news time. There's not really much to cover. Forza 3, Horizon 3, that is gone gold, which is excellent news. It is out the 20-something. Whatever Ralph said last week in the interview. Which, by the way, if you didn't listen to last week's show, normally I don't care if you listen, but please listen to last week's because the interview with Ralph turned out really well. I think he was he's a really cool guy to talk to.
Yeah, he is really cool.
Is this the guy we met briefly at the preview event?
Yes.
That guy?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, yeah. You met him.
Gave the presentation.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. He's the
like
creative
cool
director on Forza Horizon at Playground, and just really smart dude that just gets it. It's fun to talk to. Mm-hmm. So the game is gold, and Mr. Finnegan.
Yeah.
We're gonna get you sucked into Horizon 3 because the Warthog from Halo is a playable vehicle. You can drive it around the Australian outback.
I love this so much.
Warthogs in the there probably are real warthogs in the Australian outback, I'm guessing, right?
I don't think so.
No. Well, there are now.
I don't think we have
In vehicular form.
But anyway, that is super cool. I mean, I looked at the image and I was like, I mean, did we talk about we played this? That we played it at the preview event?
Oh, fine. Yeah, whatever. We have preview coverage coming soon. I mean,
maybe we edit that part out.
He wasn't in town for his health, right? He was here for a preview event.
Gotcha. I mean, this is a really good way. The model looks really cool. Like it looks just like the Warthog down to the details. I wonder if it controls the same way because Warthogs are like notoriously difficult to drive.
Yeah, they are really
it's gotten a lot better. If you go back and play like the early games, like 1 and 2,
oh my god, yeah,
it's
Halo 1,
impossible to drive.
But I kind of liked the wildness of it.
Yeah, but it was too wild.
It's also playing any other game that has vehicles compared to the way Halo vehicles control.
Yeah.
It's just like, wait, what?
Yeah. So it's a civilian model Warthog. Huh. There is no gun turret. There's no chain gun on the back of it.
That would be so cool, though.
Yeah.
Just blow people up.
That's a different game.
It's a very different game.
So it's a civilian
Twisted Metal.
2554 AMG Transport Dynamics M12S Warthog CST. That is the official model designation.
Alrighty then.
And it's got a 700, because this is a racing game now, we need to talk about its driving specs. 720 horsepower twin turbo V8. It's much faster than its military counterpart. And it apparently, now this is an interesting Forza Horizon game detail. The Warthog apparently has the most advanced suspension in the entire game, plus advanced dampening for extra stability, which we've played Horizon 3 at E3 and since, and there are those off-road buggy parts that were, you need a good suspension to get through there and
There's
be able to handle
also
the
like a
car.
lot of big jumps and like rocky terrain, big jumps.
Make Forza jumps again?
Yeah, drops and jumps, and those like buggy cars like go a long way.
Yeah.
I feel like
Warthog can be one of those.
The Warthog will be superior.
And here's the best news of all. Again, I don't know if 343 deserves the credit for this or just Microsoft in general, but fan service on Halo continues to do well, even extending out to this, because this Warthog in Forza Horizon 3 is free if you've played Master Chief Collection or Halo 5 on your account.
That's
so
awesome.
Just see that it's there, and then you'll get a free download of the Warthog for Horizon 3.
Synergy is what they call it in the business world.
Absolutely. Next up is a gentleman I've met a number of times, really nice guy, Ian Milhelm. You might not know his name, but he was at Visceral Games. You mentioned Dead Space. I don't know if it was between off-air or on-air. But,
no, I totally mentioned Dead Space.
I thought
I was totally
sorry.
Regarding microtransactions.
Thank you. All right.
There we go.
I'll take the credit for it.
Yeah, you mentioned Dead Space.
Yes.
And Ian Milhelm was the art director on Dead Space. Then he became the single-player campaign lead on Battlefield Hardline, which Visceral did. That was their last game.
Not great.
Not great, but he's moved over. He's moved 2 exits down the freeway here in the Bay Area, down the 101, to Crystal Dynamics, where he is the new game director on Tomb Raider.
That's pretty cool.
So you remember the director on Tomb Raider left sort of after the game Rise had shipped late last year. He says, quote, "Adventure games have always been my first love," and he's referring to action-adventure games. "When the opportunity came to join Crystal Dynamics, I had to jump on it. This is the home of Lara Croft, who is a legend in action-adventure gaming and a pillar of the industry. I've admired Crystal's work for a while now, as they continue to deliver top-notch narrative and spectacle, coupled with deep systems and player choice." He's not even, normally those kind of statements are horribly hyperbolic and dumb, but that's a perfect description of Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Yeah, totally.
He
It
says,
also sounds very genuine.
I'm very excited about where the studio is headed. Boy, I can't read today. And I'm eager to be a part of it. So congratulations to Ian. I think that's a great hire on both sides. And yeah, they really are. It's funny if you're going down the 101 here, if you're heading south out of San Francisco, you get to Redwood City, and you've got one exit. There's the EA, like this just sprawling, massive EA campus. It's just past the Oracle campus, just south of the Oracle campus, and then like there's
a Sony campus down there too, right?
That's in San Mateo. San Mateo now.
They moved?
Yes.
Oh.
They did. Yeah, but it's like on the border of San Mateo, Foster City.
And Foster City is close to San Mateo, yeah.
Yeah, right where the 92, it's like the 101 and 92 is right.
I went to that EA campus last weekend
Sony
actually,
is.
just for fun. We're just walking around because it's so nice.
It is.
They have like
It's
parks.
huge. Yeah.
Like God.
Yeah, it's
a
pretty
big corporate
Several
campus.
restaurants and gyms, and it's like,
Is Crystal
man.
Dynamics still in the same place?
So yeah,
It's like a jetty. It's like a swamp. Not in a bad way.
No,
it's just
but
kind
you
of close to the
you're-
water.
It's like this giant new office park that they're in one building of in the middle of the bay.
Yeah.
But not the bay. It's
That's
like
what I was gonna say. It's like a jetty. Like it kind of this stretch of land that kind of comes out into the bay,
Yeah.
and so it's a little wet and stuff.
But it's like, but I'm saying it's not. If you look out the window, it's not like the glorious water sailboats. It's like the kind of the inward edge, like the end of the bay where it's just kind of gross.
yeah. That's why I said it's kind of like a swamp. Like I've been there before, and I was like, "This is a really interesting road I'm driving along."
Yeah, and there's like a quarry on the way. So every time I go there, like the roads are filthy and with rocks, and I'm like, I care about my cars. If I had to come out here every day, I got to figure their employees probably have just like rock chips, and their cars are all effed up from.
Gotta get those car bras.
Yeah, no. Well,
What?
What's up, 1987?
We'll still use them.
What is a car bra?
The black like leather covering
that covers the like hood of the car on the front.
Yeah,
I mean, you can get
the
them in
front
different
nose.
colors.
Well, you can get them in just the clear film too. Actually,
Yeah.
I have that on mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it helps. But anyway,
I've literally never heard it called that.
well, yeah, the clear ones now are just called like film or clear bra.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know what you're talking about. The like right on the front of your Camaro, that nice whole full black leather cap that
Yep.
goes on the front of it. So
They work, man.
Well, yeah, get the job done. So yeah, new director on Tomb Raider, and boy, Tomb Raider was so good. I can't
Yeah.
believe. I'm so glad that it's PS4 people are going to get to play it.
Yeah.
This
'Cause it is
this fall.
amazing.
And especially after Uncharted's done, like hopefully nobody's going to resort to the fanboy crap with that
Of
game.
course
like,
they will.
but hopefully they're far enough apart where people just, all right, you enjoyed
Yeah.
Uncharted.
Enjoy
it was
them
great.
separately.
Now enjoy Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
I mean, the fervor over that seems to have died down mostly, right? Like when
Think
it
so.
first
Yeah, it
announced
just might
they
come
were all
up
like,
again.
"It's just Uncharted," but it's been
Well.
2 games now. Like, are people still really whining about
I
that?
also don't think that you can say that Tomb Raider is just Uncharted when
Uncharted is Tomb Raider,
Yeah.
that's like another funny point that people bring up.
One other interesting point about Tomb Raider. We were talking earlier about who's the MVPest MVP on any development team. We were talking about Todd Howard.
And we're talking. Oh, we
But-
didn't even bring up. What were you about to
No,
say?
what were you going to say?
Oh, I was going to say the game directors of like The Last of Us and Uncharted. What are those guys' names again?
Bruce Straley and Neil Druckmann.
Neil Druckmann. There you go.
Yeah, they would definitely be on the list.
Yeah.
But the thing I was going to say is most people don't even realize the youngins out there. I'm not necessarily going to include you in this, but we'll see. is Tomb Raider was this major franchise when it launched. It was huge. There was the Angelina Jolie movie that came out of it. Now there's of course a new
2
movie.
movies.
Right, that's right. But Tomb Raider changed development hands. It went from the original people at Core Design to
It's done that 3 times, hasn't it?
just once.
Oh.
Went from Core Design, the original people who were British, to Crystal Dynamics. Took it over when it started to kind of falter in Core's hands. And now it's like they've done such an incredible job.
Yeah.
That with the series, and not even just the last 2, the reboots. They were doing a really good job when they first took it over too. But like, man, has there ever been another franchise that's changed hands and actually gotten bigger? I mean, like 343's done a great job.
Fallout.
I think they've done a great.
Todd
That's a
Howard.
great
We
one.
were talking about
That's a
Todd
good one.
Howard.
That is a great one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't he say? I mean, the first 2 Fallouts are good,
Well,
but they are totally different than
They're
what Fallout
totally-
3
yeah.
became.
They
under
are
Todd
Wasteland.
Howard. Yeah.
yeah, no, you're right. I mean, they are totally different games, and I mean, and notice Black Isle Studios is one of the most revered role-playing
totally.
studios in history.
Wasteland 2 was my game of the year that came out.
There you go.
But yeah, you're right. Fallout would probably be the other
Yeah.
good one on the list. That's where it's changed hands and actually become even more successful than it
Yeah.
ever was.
They've done an incredible thing with Tomb Raider over there. I mean, like they're relaunching the movie franchise. That shows you how big the games are. And supposedly, according to Alicia Vikander, who's been cast,
Yeah.
the games serve as like the core inspiration and theme and tone of what the movies are going to be like. So basically, what they're making is those games.
No, I
as
mean,
the
they're a
movie.
lot like movies anyway, so
That's true.
Totally works. I buy it.
What do
right.
we think of Alicia Vikander as?
I don't know her.
She Deus Ex, sorry, Ex Machina.
Yeah, Ex Machina. She's
So
that girl.
I saw that and loved that movie. Wait,
Yeah.
she was the android?
the android. Yeah.
Okay, she was really good in that.
She's great in that.
Yeah.
And then she was in The Man from U.N.C.L.E., which was the Guy Ritchie sort of.
I know it's Superman's in that.
Yeah,
I,
Henry
I haven't
Cavill,
seen it.
Armie Hammer. It's pretty good.
I know it. Well, it didn't do very well.
It's mixed.
right?
Yeah,
But-
it's not a classic Guy Ritchie movie, but it's still pretty entertaining, kind of like a spy thriller.
Okay.
And then her big one that she got an Oscar for was as a supporting role in the Danish Girl.
That
Is
sounds
that
right.
the one where the guy
I don't
where
know.
Eddie Redmayne is like he's a man and then he's transgender and then he becomes a woman and they're still in love. I think that's the
I'm
one
not
she's
familiar
in.
with that.
I think she won an Oscar, or she won an Oscar for it. I think, or she won an Oscar recently. I think it was for that movie. And so now she's like on the huge, like she's huge in Hollywood right now. And I think she's gonna be great. She needs a big like. She has her indie cred. She has her Oscars.
Now you go for
You go for the
franchise.
big franchise that's
Yeah.
gonna pay the bills for the rest of your life
Yep.
and your families for generations to come.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think she'll be great. She's really cool.
A lot of people wanted Daisy Ridley, but I feel like
She
I
could have
don't
been great
know.
too.
she's too lithe. You know what I mean? Like I think
What
of
do you mean?
like lithe. She's too lithe. Like
But she's Lara she's physical by.
no, like she's strong and built and like she's like she has a more. I think Lara Croft's. In my head, the character of Lara Croft has a much bigger physical presence than in my head Daisy Ridley is. Like I think Daisy Ridley would have to be like 6 inches taller.
Okay,
I mean, but
that's
they
what I was gonna
managed
say. I
that
was gonna
with
say, do
Tom
you think
Cruise,
she's
right?
not-
They managed that with Tom Cruise. He's a tiny man. They make
Oh,
him
but
look
that's
big.
that's a little different though because he's still like ripped and he's
She could do that.
yeah, but to a point.
You're
right?
just saying you think Daisy Ridley would be a little too physically diminutive.
Yeah, like she's too small and agile. Where I think of Lara Croft as being agile but
Like-
strong.
right, more of a.
She's a rock
like a,
climber. Like she's I
Right.
imagine her having like really really defined shoulders and
But she
arms
doesn't.
and stuff.
In
Who?
the games. She
No, I
doesn't.
know, but
She's still
I'm-
got like skinny arms. It's like none of this makes any sense at all.
Like who's
But if you look, but in the game, she's also still very physical. Like again, I
She
just
does stuff, but
who's
she doesn't
who's
look big.
Lana from Archer that hosts the Ubisoft conferences?
yeah.
What's her name again?
God, I'm so terrible that I can't remember
Lady
this.
Boner.
I know who you're talking about, and I
But
feel
like
real
that,
bad.
you're talking about her kind of physical
Yeah,
stature
like that.
for
That's
like she
someone
could be
who's-
Lara Croft.
Yeah, like if Daisy Ridley was 6 inches taller,
She's an
I don't- I
amazing.
don't-
She's
I don't
an
think that's
amazing
fair.
comic too, and
Yeah,
I'm
she's
completely blanking
she's
on her name.
excellent.
Her stand-up is
She's
incredible.
also a huge gamer.
She is.
She loves Gears of War.
my God,
We're all just like, oh.
it's really terrible
the
that I can't
audience
remember
is just
this.
like, I hate all three of you right now so much. Sean's gonna bail us out. On
She
Google.
yeah, she's I think like played Gears of War competitively for a bit, or maybe it was just like hosting tournaments. but
I'm
she loves
looking. I'm
Gears.
seeing her face
Me too.
in my head, and I'm blanking on her name, and I feel terrible about it.
Why is this taking so long?
But
Just
anyway,
search
because I don't
Lana
know what to Google because I don't know her name.
She's not British, but she could be a cool Lara
Hey
Croft.
Siri,
has a
who plays
podcast.
Lana in Archer?
Oh, there you go. That's an easier way to do it.
No,
see if-
no, Siri, no. No, that's not what I want. Who plays Lana
No, I'm
in
just gonna
Archer?
Google Archer cast, and this will.
There you go.
Okay, searching the iTunes store for Archer.
Nope, you're
This isn't
terrible.
what I want at
Aisha
all.
Tyler.
Aisha
you.
Tyler,
It
that's
only
it.
took us 5 minutes.
Yes. Oh, damn it.
We know how to Google.
Oh man,
No, I just mean like
I know what you're talking about.
Daisy
like,
Ridley's plenty physical. I just think she's too small. Like some people are too small, right?
It would
I
be
feel like
like
that's unfair, just
it would
because
be
I
like
think.
me playing He-Man in the new He-Man film
But
that
I
they're
mean,
doing.
they make
Like, it
men
just
look
wouldn't
really
work.
big. You know, Bane. Like Tom Hardy's pretty small. They made him look huge.
No, but so small and short aren't the same thing. He's like 5'7"
So
or 5'8".
she would just get
but
bigger.
he's-
Guys
but-
do that.
Yeah, but it's way easier for guys to get that big than it is for women to get that big.
You want Lara Croft to be Tom Hardy big?
No. I just don't want her to be. I don't think that.
Women can get big.
I'm
You
not
just
saying
have
she
to eat a
can't get
ton of
big.
protein.
I'm not saying she can't get big. What I'm saying is that you'd rather have someone who has a bigger frame and can still be thin and attractive because that's important for the franchise as a movie maker. It's really dumb,
I
but
feel
it
like she
is.
could do that.
I think she's too small. Like I think her frame isn't big enough. I mean, truth be told, Alicia Vikander is not that much bigger.
She can lift like 80 kilos.
Who?
Daisy Ridley.
Oh, I'm sure she's getting super fit for this next
She
movie
is
too.
very strong. Because she posts about it on her Instagram all the time.
She was carrying Mark Hamill around there for a little bit too.
And I mean, yeah, they're both Daisy Ridley and Alicia Vikander are both very
British.
young, right? So they can
Yeah.
could both be Lara Croft for a 10-year
Yeah,
run of
that'd be
films
cool.
easily, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's not even maybe it's less about like her physicality and even more about like her on-screen presence. Like if you watch, like Alicia Vikander has this like huge gravitas that I'm not 100% convinced Daisy Ridley has yet, because the only thing we've seen
only
her in
seen her
is
in The Force
Star
Awakens.
Wars, and anyone has gravitas in Star Wars because Star Wars has gravitas. You know,
I don't know about that. I thought she was clearly probably the highlight of Star Wars.
Yeah, her
She was
performance
the
was really good.
standout performance in Star Wars.
I don't want to get into it, but I kind of disagree. Like, she's great, no doubt. I was way more interested in Finn as a character, and I thought he was like more.
I mean, I don't I'm not going to disagree with you in the sense. I mean, Boyega was great
totally.
too.
I mean, everyone's great. The movie's great. Like, but it's so subjective when you talk about.
Everyone's great. Let's move on.
It's so subjective when you're talking about who you think might make for a good character.
Yeah,
right?
I guess it's probably the cosplayer in me that I always want to rule out a body type as a problem. Like always, you know, people would be like, I can't cosplay that character because my body type's not right. It's like, doesn't matter. Like that's not the point. So it's like I always want to rule that out. And then it's like sometimes women are held to like this pedigree of like you have to look this way, but guys don't, and that sucks. So that's
you're
that's
right.
probably where that's coming from.
I'd
It's
argue that
I
like
get
casting for movies is different.
I totally
than
get
cosplay,
that.
but
Yeah.
and it's also like through
No,
a lot.
you're right. I agree with you. I mean, Michael Keaton was cast as Batman.
Yeah.
Mr. Mom was cast, and it worked.
Yeah, he was
and it worked great.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that Daisy Ridley couldn't channel Lara's tone and emotion as a character, but when it comes to the action scenes, if she's rock climbing, swinging around axes, and punching dudes' heads off and stuff, I don't quite.
think Lara
What are
does
you
that.
playing?
Well, you know what I'm
Man.
saying. Like whatever these action scenes end up
Fatality.
being,
Lara
I don't know
wins.
that I could quite buy it.
Yeah, I
You'd have to
understand
show
what
me.
you're saying.
That's the thing is like I put on my producer hat and I'm like, okay, you tell me it can be done. Let's do a screen test. And show me that
Sean's
it
gonna
works.
audition for some.
We'll get Daisy Ridley over here.
Yeah.
some
And,
actresses for the role.
Daisy Ridley, if you want to come screen test for Sean Finnegan for the role that I cannot give,
You have absolutely no power.
you are totally welcome to do it. We got a little green screen in the studio.
I'm gonna get you to punch dudes' heads off,
Yeah.
as Lara Croft does.
Actually, if we really could get her in here and make a video about how we think Daisy Ridley could have been a better Tomb Raider than
Oh, man.
that would do very well for IGN.
Oh, for sure, dude. Well, anything. If you bring Daisy Ridley in here, we could just sit her down. She doesn't even have to say anything. That'll kill for IGN. But yeah, if we could ever do awesome
Just take
stuff.
photos of her, really, and it'll be fine.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
just hey, Daisy Ridley, come hang out. I'm sure you listen to this podcast.
You seem like a very nice person.
Our
We'd
new
love to chat with you.
our new assistant editor, Daisy
Daisy
Ridley.
Ridley.
She's going to review the next Lego Force Awakens game.
That'd be great.
Actually, that would be really great if
Yeah.
she reviewed a Star Wars game for us.
We had to do like a skit one time, and they always get me to do any kind of British voice. So I've been
Close
Daisy Ridley.
enough.
I'm just waiting for someone to ask me to be Tracer at some point. I want to do Tracer voices so bad. Like, cavalry's here. Like, just because I can. Like, just, can we use that in a video at some point, please?
At some point.
The droid's not for sale.
put it on your performance goal list for
For
2017.
IGN, please,
Yeah.
please need a skit that has a Tracer voice in it because I would really like to do that.
Well, you can put on any voice you want now, Alana, for the marketplace report. What could we spend our money on this week? I'm not sure we should, but what could we spend our money
Retail,
on?
Attack on Titan. I think Miranda's reviewing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe you're right. No idea what
Not sure when that's
the score
due.
is.
Yeah.
It's
So-
out, though.
Yeah, that's a thing that is out. Digital, we have Live Lock, which is $20. 140.
It's from the
140.
lead. It's a puzzle. It's a minimalist puzzle game from the lead designer of Inside
Oh,
and
cool.
Limbo. So
Interesting.
that
Wow.
one might be worth paying attention
Yeah,
to. It's like a side project game for that designer. I'm sorry, I don't have the designer's name, but
It's only
that's-
$8, so that's
Yeah.
cool. Resident Evil 4, which is $20. It's a great game. No, you don't like it?
No, it's a great game. It's just again, it's the Capcom.
Oh, the
thing.
Capcom thing.
Oh,
Don't
Forget
support
it. I'm not
Capcom
going to go
at
into
this
it
point.
again.
We've talked about it a lot.
Yeah.
Just buy it if you want.
Side
or
note.
don't if you don't.
The show's gone run. The show's gone long. I have to run. Is that cool? Am I gonna,
You want to here? Let's.
Do you want me? I'll give you an
I
answer.
can't-
It's
hold
A.
on.
I choose A. The first one.
Okay.
I feel
Whatever
like
that
I'm
is.
gonna,
Sight unseen.
I feel like
huh?
I'm gonna win.
I was gonna actually read you.
What is the question? Yeah,
hold
what
on.
is the question?
Let me,
Sorry.
Let me just fold the answer. So
Okay.
you
I'll
can-
wait for points.
Yeah, I'll try and get a point.
Here,
Sean
just-
Finnegan needs
we're
every
not gonna,
point he can get.
We're not gonna do it yet, but just read that and mark which one you think it is.
Oh, here.
Mahjong.
This is the worst episode ever.
Oh
Is
God, there's no
$10.
way I can know this.
Just take a shot, man.
We're gonna go with D.
Okay, so I'm gonna mark you down.
Sorry,
for
bye
D.
everyone.
Get out.
Miss you already. All right, what else can we spend our money on?
Mahjong for $10. I really like Mahjong. I've played like a lot of Mahjong in my anyway.
Yeah, I mean it's classic. What are
yeah,
you gonna do?
it's great. Binaries for $10. Hue for $12. The Turing Test for $20.
So I really want to play the Turing test.
Marty's reviewing that.
Yeah, and the other scores around the internet, he must have put up his score already, but
I think so,
It's
yeah.
gotten good reviews.
It's also just I love the Turing Test. I love what it is. So
It's a first-person puzzle game in the Portal vein.
Yes.
And it's I played however long the demo was. I think it was maybe 15, 20 minutes back at GDC
Yeah.
a while ago. And right there, I was like, okay, this is totally my
So
kind
is
of
it
game.
based on the concept of like trying to figure out if an AI is human or not? as
I'm
well?
sure that factors into the story.
hope so.
I don't know what the story
Yeah.
is from just the out of context slice I played
Yeah.
that had no story presented in that part.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It looks really cool.
It's if you like Portal, this is probably one to
Yeah.
keep an eye on.
Armello, that's an Australian game. Woohoo! Shout out. That's $15. Obliteraces is $14, but has a free trial. Solo Shifter EX is $10, and Nightmares from the Deep 2: The Siren's Call is $9.
Where was Nightmares from the Deep 1? I missed that one.
Yep. So I feel like sometimes, like with games like that, they just chuck a 2 on the end anyway. It's like
You never know.
You
never know.
It's not illegal. Do what I want.
I do what I want.
Marketplace, the Battlefield 1 beta is open to all. I did not know that, and I'm now going to go play that. September games with gold, we have Earthlock, Festival of Magic all month long, and Assassin's Creed Chronicles China from September 16 to October 15 on Xbox One, and Forza Horizon 1 from September 1 to 15.
Yes.
And Mirror's Edge from September 16 to 30 on Xbox 360. Play both of them.
For goodness sakes, play them
Please.
both. Especially Mirror's Edge 1.
Yeah, did you play Catalyst?
I reviewed it.
How was it?
What did I give it? A low 7, I think? No, high 6. There are definitely good core parts to it, but it has a lot of flaws. And
Sucks.
At the end of the day, I'm not sorry that it got made the way that I am like Dumb and Dumber 2 with Jim Carrey and Jeff
Yeah.
Daniels, the sequel to my all-time favorite comedy. Sorry it got made.
Yeah.
Wish it had never been made.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mirror's Edge Catalyst is fine, but the first game I think is
Much better.
just much stronger
Yeah,
overall.
first game's great. It's like a puzzle game, effectively.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. Hey, Live Lock and Earthlock.
Wait, what?
Those are two.
Oh, yeah.
Both out this week. Both
Live
out
Lock,
there this
Earthlock.
week. Go figure.
Yeah.
All right. We'll come right back and do the trivia question for you right after this. All righty. Sean has left us.
He
It's
has
just you
left.
and I. But
R.I.P. He
we've
died.
got a trivia question that comes to us from, let me find this, Wyatt, whose gamer tag is Titanium Tomcat. He had donated, let's see, is this the gentleman that had donated?
We missed someone last week, I think.
Well, this was him. I mentioned him like that we were going to do his next week. So he had mailed us something to give away. I forget what it was, but it was super nice. And so he also sent a trivia question, so he deserves to win. So I'm picking his question. Plus, it's a good question anyway.
Okay.
This is not an easy one.
Okay.
I don't know how well you know your video game composers. There are a few big-name ones out there. Jeremy Soule is one of those well-known composers. He, as Wyatt notes here, Jeremy Soule's work is most well-known in the Elder Scrolls series. He scores the Elder Scrolls. We're talking a lot about Bethesda today. So, which of the following Xbox game soundtracks was not composed by Jeremy Soule? Which of these did he not do? Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, Prey, Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance, or Dishonored. So that's 4 pretty different games spanning a lot of years. He did 3 of those. So which of those did Jeremy Soule not score?
I think Dishonored. And I'm saying that just because I remember reading an article about the person who composed Dishonored, and I don't think that it was him.
Okay. You going to go with that?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm actually pretty confident.
You're going with that. Finnegan actually went with that as well, kind of on a whim. And I'll tell you,
so it doesn't matter. Right, really, because we both were right.
Destin's going to be real mad because he couldn't do the show today, and he was mad that we didn't do this last week because people were gone last week, and he wanted the chance to get the point. So he's going to be extra mad because both of you got it right. Yeah, so well done. You both get a point. Let me find the scoring
Slowly
to see how
catching
we're doing.
up.
Yeah, I mean, it's a long year. There's still plenty of time to go.
It's true.
You are up to 7 points. Marty's at 12, but Marty not here this week. I guess he'll be back on the show next week, and then the poor Shark doesn't get to be on quite as often. He's got 4 points. Marty with 12, Destin with 10. Damn. You're at 7. All Shark at 4.
Getting there.
The ghost of Mitch has 6 points.
Aw, little Mitchy D.
Aw. All right.
Yeah, I just want to beat Destin, you know?
That's a noble goal.
I'm fine with Marty beating me. That's okay. But as long as I beat Destin,
then victory has been won.
I'll set that. That's my aim here. Beat Destin.
So, Wyatt, thank you so much for your
That's a good question.
Prize donation. Yes, for the good question. We will get you... I've got a bunch of games, actually. I can give you a choice of what you might want to get a download code for. And if you want to participate and thus win an Xbox game, send your Xbox-related trivia question. Please include 4 multiple-choice answers. Note the correct one in your email. And email it to unlocked@ign.com. All right, Alana. IGN Prime is an awesome way to support IGN, and in return you get a better IGN experience. It takes ads
and free
off
games as well, right?
Free games, occasional beta codes for things, and most importantly, no ads before videos, no ads on the homepage. So that costs $30 a year. If you're interested in that arrangement, you can go to ign.com/prime. We also, you and I, maybe, this Friday might be a good time. Let's get some unlocked plays going.
Yeah, totally.
Oh,
no, I was actually thinking because last week we spoke about Tony's Pizza.
Yes.
We should do our first food review.
Yes.
Let's just go in and give the pizza scores individually.
I will take any, that's the best idea
You can do it with burgers,
today.
we'll do it with pizza, we'll do it with just lots of San Francisco food.
Yeah, let's see here. I'm back next Friday. Yeah, we can pretty much whenever.
Yeah, I feel like Fridays is a good day. We'll go eat some food and talk about it.
I like that.
People liked it last week. We spoke about pizza and cheese for a super long time.
Yeah, we did get, and I tell you,
a lot of positive tweets about it.
A lot of positive tweets, and you would not believe the number of tweets that I got that were, I listened to Unlocked and then I immediately ordered pizza.
Yeah.
Apparently the mere mention of pizza, particularly
now I want pizza.
As we described it in our articulate, very enthusiastic way, was enough to get everyone else to order pizza as they heard it.
Yeah, we did good.
So you're welcome, local pizza establishments that we caused
helped that one time.
A spike in business.
Very small spike briefly. But yeah, our YouTube channel is youtube.com/IGN Unlocked, and we're planning to do a bunch of weird, cool stuff on there, like reviewing pizza and burgers. It'll be great.
Because it's fun.
Why not?
Why not?
Yeah. It's also relevant to the podcast because we talk about food a lot.
A lot.
Yeah.
It's a weird our podcast is pretty much all skinny people, but we talk about
That is true.
We talk about food like
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
You'd think we'd never eat at all.
Well, I have cheat days on Saturdays. So that's the day, last Saturday was my cheat day. So I went to this restaurant, I bought a burger, and it was a bad burger. I cannot.
So you felt you were probably mad about it.
I waited all week
Yeah.
to eat a burger.
and then it sucked.
It was bad. It was so
You wanna throw
upsetting.
them under
Like,
the
I
bus?
was legitimately angry.
Where was this?
I don't know the name of the place. It was just
It
by.
wasn't a chain though. It was just like a local establishment.
Yeah, it was a restaurant. It was just by like Lake Merritt in Oakland.
Okay.
And it was just this terrible burger that just had almost no flavor. And I was like, I wait every Saturday. I get a burger or I get pizza.
Right.
And I had this crappy burger.
Are you you're a big burger fan?
I
then?
love burgers.
So
yeah.
we're gonna go back to In-N-Out and we're gonna do that and we're gonna try and.
I think Whataburger is probably one of my favorites. There's also this.
They're not here.
No, they're only Texas.
Arizona has it as
Right.
well. I think kind of the southwest.
Yeah. Yeah, Whataburger is really good.
Yeah, I haven't had it in so many years, but I don't remember loving because I lived in Arizona for years. But Whataburger was never big on my list.
I guess
but
my second would be Smash Burger.
Smash is good.
I like Smash Burger.
What I was gonna say was, when we have an excuse to do a proper business lunch, I want to take you to Marlowe down the street. Are you familiar with Marlowe? Oh, it's seriously it's like been voted the best burger in San Francisco.
Oh, wow.
And it's real good.
Huh, noted.
It's super good.
I did have a really, really good slider style burger at this one place in the Mission that my dad and I went and got one each and then ended up buying 3 more. 'Cause
Nice.
They were very small, but they were just incredible burgers. If I go out and ask Brian Altano, he'll know the place, but it was just the best burger I think I've ever had. It was in the
That's
Mission.
high praise.
Yeah, it was really good.
Have you been to Five Guys yet?
No.
No. So there is one. We'd have to drive. It's not, which we do for In-N-Out too, but
Yeah.
there are a couple of Five Guys. One of them is kind of close. We'd have to take like a bit of a long lunch, but it's out there.
Check it out.
Yeah.
Make
Burger
weird
Cast.
videos about it.
It's for work, you guys.
Exactly.
Seriously.
We can expense it now. It's fine.
Okay. So the Shark, you can follow him at Shot by Finnegan. Actually, tell me what you've been up to before I selfishly hog the spotlight.
I mean, the biggest thing that right now that I would want people to check out was the Gears in 5 Minutes, which
Yes.
should be up by the time that you watch this. It took a really, really long time. It was a team effort. Like, a lot of people had to put that together. And you watch those videos, because I remember watching them before I came to IGN and being like, cool. But I didn't realize that it would be like 2 full weeks of work. Like, it was hard. But super fun, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. I recently published a really cool cosplay article about this absolutely amazing Metal Gear cosplayer. So that you can check out on the site. And also I was on Up at Noon last week, which was lots of fun. So there's tons of breakouts from that, talking about lazy Pokemon and our favorite Dragon Ball characters and
Nice.
stuff. So
And in all seriousness, yeah, you did an awesome job on the Gears of War in 5 Minutes thing.
Thank
and
you.
I genuinely encourage everybody to watch it because you're probably like me where maybe you haven't played the Gears games since they came out.
Yeah,
I mean,
you've
I know
forgotten stuff.
the Ultimate Edition for Xbox One came out, but there's 2 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually a great way to just brush up on what the hell happened.
Yeah, so you're up to
because I
date.
forgot a lot of those little details.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, there was part of the reason that I think Gears of War 2 was dumb was because there was a total Star Trek Borg queen. Like, there was the Locust Queen, and I remember
she's in 3 too.
how ridiculous. But they introduced her in 2. Like, she did not exist in Gears of War 1. And then all of a sudden, oh, there's a queen. Like, oh, come on.
Gears of War 1 was a really good standalone
What is this
game,
just Star Trek First Contact?
Yeah,
Like,
it is kind of dumb.
Anyway. But yeah, so.
And an underground city. Like, the weirdest thing about writing that was that apparently they just don't have any geologists on Sarah because nobody figured out that the entire planet was just locust tunnels and that
Right.
they had
It was a big ant
city.
farm.
Like, just nobody knew. Like, how did nobody figure that out? But
Whoops.
it doesn't make any sense. That they figured out that Jacinto was on bedrock that couldn't be penetrated, but they didn't figure out that everything else wasn't and had holes everywhere. It's so weird. You're all real dumb.
Hashtag Sarah Logic.
Yep.
Anyway, yeah, watch that video because it's a good way to brush up,
Mm-hmm.
even if you have played all 3 games, which I certainly had. And, well, you touched on Judgment for like 2 seconds, too.
Yeah.
But, yeah, good way to catch up. You can find me on Twitter at DMC_Ryan. If you like the t-shirt I'm wearing, I made it, and you can find the link to buy one from me on my Twitter profile. And let's see, Gears of War wrapping up for IGN First. The next IGN First starts Tuesday after the Labor Day holiday.
That's a cool one.
It's one that I'm pretty sure nobody's going to expect.
Definitely.
It is a game that's already been announced, but yeah, you'll probably be taken by surprise. But hopefully you'll like it. The game looks really great. Obviously, I wouldn't have chosen it if I weren't excited about it. But yeah, curious to get that coverage started. And yeah, I'll be at the PlayStation event next week. So I think maybe when I get back, we'll talk about what Scorpio event might look like in the wake of however this thing goes.
Yeah, well, when we think that they would do that. Or,
right.
Yeah.
So hope you have fun without me on the show next week.
Yes, Ryan is going to die again.
So. Again.
Yeah. Sean died earlier in the podcast.
Yeah. He like threw himself out.
Yeah, he did.
I didn't even throw him out. He threw himself out.
Yeah.
All right. For the dearly departed Sean the Shark Finnegan and the fantastic Alana Pierce. My name's Ryan McCaffrey. This was Podcast Unlocked episode, my goodness, 261. We will be back. They'll be back.
Yes.
While I'm in New York next week. Bye.